Are you picky enough? This video is all about being super choosy with the activities that we see in, from teachers or conferences or wherever you can, people talk about different activities and lessons. Even tech resources, all of these things are flying at us, and we have to be able to be better at choosing which lessons fit into our programs. There's so much out there. We want to limit the time that we have to kind of navigate through the weeds. So this video is for you. Here we go. Hey there, Math Moment makers. John here from Make Math Moments. And overwhelm is a real thing in educators, and I know that it comes to mind when I think about grabbing lessons from fellow teachers at the lunch table, or heading to a conference and then getting all of these resources thrown at me, or our virtual conference these days. Sometimes, like, there's so many websites, apps, manipulatives. What are the best things for our classrooms? That's often something that takes up a lot of our time, and we want to minimize our time, right? Like we always need more time, so we want to minimize that time. And so instead, sometimes some people will say these are the 5 best things, or these are the 10 best things for your classroom. Well, I think a better thing for us to do is to think about, how do I choose these resources for my classroom, instead of someone tell me the 5 best. Is like, let's actually become better curators ourselves. And that's what this video is. And what we're playing a clip here from one of our courses in the Academy on being a better chooser. We call it Are You Picky Enough? And it's how to curate math lessons and math resources. And then specifically in that course, we talk about EdTech tools. So, like, what are the good tools to use in our classroom? So I'm not going to talk too much further, because we're going to grab that clip. We're going to play it right here for you so you can see it. But stick around after it so you can learn a little bit more of how to dig deeper into more learning on this really important idea for teachers. Okay, welcome to our mini course, Are You Picky Enough? Why being choosy with technology will help us fuel sense making in our students. Okay, let's get into it. Let's begin with a show that I love, which is called Dragon's Den here in Canada. But also in the States have adopted this same show. It's called Shark's Tank. So Shark's Tank, Dragon's Den, very much the same show about investments, people pitching ideas to the sharks or the dragons, and then the sharks or the dragons, which are wealthy business owners themselves, and successful business owners have to decide whether they want to invest in that company or not. Okay, let's begin. I want you to pretend that you are a shark or a dragon, and I'm pitching to you. And I'm pitching to you a grocery store. Okay, so I'm making a grocery store. Here is my grocery store. Decide if you would like to invest in my grocery store. Okay, here we go. At my grocery store, I am not going to carry any branded items. So, like, I'm not going to sell Kellogg's Frosted Flakes or Campbell's Soup, or Black and Decker, Diamond Black cheese strings. I'm not carrying branded items. I only have my types of items, no branded items other than my items themselves. I am not going to have anything on sale. No, that's right, no sales at my store ever. I'm not going to advertise on TV or social media or the internet. There's no advertisements for my store whatsoever. And I'm not going to do that self-checkout thing that everyone's doing at the big box stores. And there's no self-checkout to speed things up, not at my store. I'm also not going to do coupons and loyalty cards. No coupons at any time, or loyalty cards. Are you ready to invest? And I'm sure a lot of you are like, hang on. I am not investing in that company. And this company, like this, the funny thing is, this company does exist, and it has been invested in, and it's actually a company that is ranked among the 100 best companies to work for
nationwide, internationally wide companies to work for. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about what company this is. Like, what grocery store am I talking about right here that the dragons you have to try to guess? It's an actual grocery store that exists out there. I want you to think about what that is. I'm going to give you about 3 seconds to come up with one grocery store that you think that is. It doesn't have branded items. Nothing's on sale ever. They don't have self checkout. They don't have coupons or loyalty cards. Can you imagine what grocery store this is? Have got that guess in your mind? I'm sure you're like stumped a little bit, but I want to give you a little more information to help you refine your guess. I looked up some grocery stores across Canada, but also United States, and I've got some data here for you to work with because this particular grocery store not only has this and is ranked one of the best 100 companies to work for, but this grocery store far is like killing the competition. It is outperforming the competition in 3 to 4 times the average sales. And I want to give you this graph right here that we've compiled for Canadian and American grocery stores right here. What we're looking at is grocery stores. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different grocery stores, and we're looking at the sales per square foot. That's right. This grocery store that I'm referring to is the one on the far left of the screen. It's selling $2,000 per square foot per year, which is 3 to 4 times the average sales per square foot amongst these other grocery stores. It is killing the competition in sales per square foot. So not only I want you to guess what is that top leader, but I also want you to come up with other grocery store names that could also be these grocery stores out of these 6. I'm gonna go quiet here for 20 seconds, and then I'm gonna pick up where we left off. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to write down 6 grocery store names, and I try to rank them from least sales per square foot to highest sales per square foot on the count of 3. 3, 2, 1, go. Five seconds to go. All right, here we go. Here we go. Do you have some of these listed? Let's have a look. I'm going to reveal from right to left, starting with the lowest sales per square foot at 530. This is a Canadian grocery store called Metro. It is one of the larger grocery stores we have here in Canada. Metro is one of the last on this sheet on this page. Going next is another Canadian grocery store we have here is Sobeys. And then we have, which is, Sobeys is comparable to like Meijer, and so is also Metro. And when we have Walmart coming in at 4th place on this list, I bet you some of you had picked Walmart as the top one or the second one, but no, Walmart is 4th on this list. We have Loblaws, which is one of Canada's major grocery stores here, and then second place here, far exceeding Loblaws and Walmart and Sobeys. We have, can you guess this? We have Whole Foods. I'm wondering if some of you were guessing Whole Foods for the top one, but Whole Foods does sell branded items. So here we go. Top sales per square foot. Did you guess Trader Joe's? Trader Joe's is far exceeding the sales per square foot profit margin amongst all of these other grocery stores in the US and Canada. It is killing the competition. And one question, so when I saw this data, I heard this for the first time on the podcast Freakonomics, and they revealed these stats in a very similar way that I've just revealed them to you. And one question that I wondered about this and how this relates to math class is like, why is Trader Joe's killing the rest? And if you're not familiar with Trader Joe's, here's what it looks like inside. Like they sell their own branded items. It looks kind of like the old Western kind of like motif going on here. But what Trader Joe's does very well is they curate very well, which means that when you go into the Meyer or Loblaws and you're looking for tomato sauce, and you go to the tomato sauce aisle and you come across like 30 different kinds of tomato sauce. This is like what most grocery stores do. They give you a ton of items to choose from. Joe's does not do that. They give you only a few items, like 2 to 3, to choose from right off the bat. So you don't have that choice. They have curated the items down to their best two, and that's what they pride themselves on. That they say, you know what, we've done all the thinking for you. Here are two that you can choose from, and then you can trust them. Like, curation builds trust in people. And what this made me think about, like, what else, like, who else curates things well? Like, if Trader Joe's is killing the market in curation, because curation is great in a sense that you don't have to think about the choices. They've limited them for you, and you trusting them to go, like, they've done all the legwork to figure out what are the best options, and now I boiled it down to two. Here's a company that I think doesn't do curation all that well, and this is for me, not necessarily for you. Like, I'm talking about Netflix. Like, when I sign into Netflix, I'm not sure if it's the same for you, but when a show is over on Netflix, I go back to the main screen and I'm choosing one, and it takes me forever to choose one. I spend more time trying to choose a show than actually watching a show sometimes. And that's because there's so many to choose from. And I feel like they do recommend a few, but that curation is not there. They're not saying, like, pick between these two next. I think that could help me a lot. Here's another piece of or another tool of software that I use that I think does very well on curation, and that's Spotify. Like, when I sign into Spotify, they're like, hey, you're gonna really like this playlist, like Throwback Thursdays. You're gonna love that, and I do, and it's great. They curate very well. Here's another curation. Indigo Chapters, our bookstore here in Canada, they have Heather's Picks books, and she's got only a few books on that list, and you know that she's picked the best books for you to read. Like, Oprah's books list does the same types of thing. So they're curating these books for us. And why curation is such a big deal is because more choices actually harms us. In The Paradox of Choice, which is a book by Barry Schwartz, he talks about how the culture of abundance robs us of satisfaction. And he says too much choice can lead to decision-making paralysis, anxiety, and actually perpetual stress. So when you're thinking about this, that the curation is great because it reduces this for us. But that going into that grocery store aisle and looking at all those tomato sauces, sometimes you're overwhelmed on what to pick. That's the same that's going on for me in Netflix. Trader Joe's is doing great on that. You don't feel overwhelmed. You can trust them. But this led me to think, as a math teacher, like, how are we creating math lessons? Because when I go to conferences, or you go to conferences, or you're searching online for your next lesson that you want to try, that you're working on fractions or something, and you're like, I just need something to fix this lesson. I'm not happy with what I've done so far, and you search. There's so much out there, and it is overwhelming. Sometimes we find, like I do on Netflix, that when you're searching longer than it could be to create it. So curation is huge for us in math lessons. And I wanted to think about, like, who is curating things well? Like, most of us rely on the textbooks to tell us what lessons to do when. And one question I've had over the last few years, is the textbook the best curator? They have to create lessons on paper, but and they sell them, and people, so many people use them as a great resource, and they can be a great resource, but is it the best curator of lessons for you? Some people then, they're going to go and search on Pinterest. I know some of you are like Pinterest lovers, where you go to Pinterest and type in fractions, and then and for me, I get overwhelmed. Like, there's so many things on Pinterest, and I'm not sure which ones are the best to use, and I spent a ton of time searching. So not a great curator on Pinterest, and they all just lead to teachers pay teachers anyway, so I have to buy something. But when you think about us teachers, that we spend on average, and the average teacher spends 12 hours extra weekly on on lesson development in marking and other things related to our job. And this is not even related to extracurricular activities. These are parts of our job when we're creating lessons and teaching lessons. So 12 hours is huge. And if we can cut that down, that would be extremely helpful. So I've looking at a couple good curators that I use on a regular basis. I want to share a couple with you right now. And one is John Stevens' blog. He's put together the MitBoss Google search engine, which all that does is he's curated a number of blogs that he trusts and respects, and he's put them into search engines. And all you have to do is type in what you're looking for, like a topic, like fractions or linear relations, and that search engine only searches the blogs that he's curated. So he's made this curation search device, which is really trustworthy. You know you're going to get something good out of that. We've also done the same thing on our website, makemathmoments.com. Maybe you've even been there, where if you went to our link, we have a similar Google search, but ours isn't searching all the blogs. Ours is searching specific blogs that have problem-based lessons. So they're only looking for problem-based, like 3-act math task lessons, or other ones like that. So ours is searching specifically for that. And that's to help us with this. Like, we go back to this about math class, like paradox of choice is an overwhelm, and we do not want to add more stress to us. That we can limit the amount of choices we actually have would be great. And how we can do that is in thinking about how to do this even better, because not only is John Stevens curating for us and we're trying to curate for you, is we have to ask you have to ask yourself, like, how can you be more picky with the lessons you choose? So you also have to be a curator yourself. So this is going to be the end of lesson 1 here in this mini course. But what's coming up right now is we're going to have a few more lessons coming in, and we're going to look at how to be more picky. Like, what are the tips and resources and things we should think about to be more picky ourselves as curators. Then we're going to move into technology specifically. That's what this mini course is all about. We're going to look at who is curating EdTech well and who is not curating EdTech well. And then we will finally move into tools that allow for pickiness. Like, how can you be more picky in your lessons, and what tech tools will allow for that? So we will see you in the next lesson.
Okay, so I hope you learned a lot about how to be a better chooser and why we need to be a better chooser. I think that's one of the biggest ideas there, is like why we need to be better curators in math lessons and what are the things we have to think about. So I'm right now, to dig a little bit deeper, I'm going to show you where this mini lesson came from. We have a full course in the Make Math Moments Academy called Are You Picky Enough? And it's all about how to be that better chooser. So for example, you saw right here, lesson 1, which is why we should be picky in our classrooms. Lesson 2 is about how we can be more picky. And we talk about 4 different look-fors, 4 different things that help us choose, 4 different things I pick when I choose lessons. And then we talk about who is doing good curating, and then which tools are the best. And then modules 3 and 4 are specifically about technology and how to choose better programs and apps for our classroom. And we talk about which ones we should be using and which ones we shouldn't be using. And so that's what module 2 and 3 are all about. So that's where this course lives. And if you want to dive a little bit deeper in there, then you can also join the Academy. The Academy is always available for you to join for free for 30 days. Hey, 30 days is enough time to go through that course for sure. And then you can cancel, and then you can get out, and you've learned a lot along the way. And we hope you kind of stick with us as we kind of learn together in the Math Maker community. So that's it for us. If you haven't subscribed here, make sure you do subscribe here and check out the Academy if that course is right for you. Take care. Enjoy your week.